Prime Minister Morawiecki considers the European response so far as too weak and has called for further sanctions, including the confiscation of Russian oligarchs' property and Russian Federation assets in Western banks across the European Union. The Prime Minister pointed out that the exchange rate of the Russian currency has returned to pre-war levels, which means that Russia does not lose much after the introduction of European sanctions. He added that Poland had called for effective sanctions much earlier. Every day we were sounding the alarm that we could not wait, that we could not delay them a moment longer. So what were you waiting for, dear leaders of rich countries of the West? Just 4 weeks ago, even before the Bucha massacre, this could have been Poland's appeal. Today it is the appeal of the murdered, the killed, the starved, the slaughtered. NATO foreign ministers met in Brussels. North Atlantic Treaty Organization Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said we are entering a critical phase of the war.
Has changed his ambition to control the whole of Ukraine and also to rewrite the international order. So we need to be prepared for a long haul. We need to support Ukraine, sustain our sanctions, and strengthen our defenses and our deterrence.
At the United Nations Security Council yesterday, the President of Ukraine called for the Russian Federation to be expelled from the Security Council. Zelensky presented a list of crimes the Russians have committed against Ukrainians. He spoke of women being raped in front of children and people in cars being smashed by tanks. Similar crimes are said to have occurred near Kharkiv, Mariupol and Kharkiv. Russian soldiers and those giving them orders must be held accountable for war crimes committed in Ukraine. All those who gave illegal orders and those who carried them out, killing people, must face a tribunal like the one at Nuremberg. The declaration of further sanctions came from the President of the European Parliament, Ursula von der Leyen. The fifth package of sanctions is to ban coal imports from Russia. She added that the recent discoveries of murdered civilians must be called a war crime.
These sanctions will not be our last sanctions. As I said already yesterday, yes, we've now banned coal, but now we have to look into oil, and we have to look into the revenues that Russia gets from the fossil fuels, and we really have to make an effort, for example, to take a share to the escrow, to an escrow banking system, so that we will really limit the source of revenues from Russia, from fossil fuels.
The United States has decided to provide Ukraine with an additional $100 million in security assistance. The support also includes anti-tank systems. America wants to impose further sanctions on Russia. White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki said this will be done in close consultation with the European and G7 countries.
Dollar package announced on March 12th, which are almost complete. Deliveries of the $800 million package that the President announced on March 16th are actively occurring, and obviously the Department of Defense has also announced a range of equipment that is being provided. I'd also note that there are a range of mechanisms as it relates to accountability, and that relates to the President's strong statements about his view and belief that Russia and President Putin are guilty of war crimes and obviously the atrocities that have taken place.
In recent days, more and more countries have taken decisions to expel Russian diplomats from their countries. Greece recognised today 12 diplomats as undesirables. Yesterday, Latvia, Sweden and Denmark, among others, did so. Poland already recognised 45 Russian diplomats as spies at the end of March and expelled them from the country. We want the European Union to impose a full embargo on all hydrocarbons. Oil is 180 billion a year and coal is 12 billion a year. Tomorrow the United Nations will vote on suspending the Russian Federation's membership of the United Nations Human Rights Council. A country can be removed from the Council if 2/3 of the 193 United Nations member states vote in favour.